art always stayed with me in one or the other form, and that became my primary interest. My dad was a mechanical engineer. He used to fix everything and anything around the house, and seeing him do that made me curious about these things. It was just getting too overwhelming for me. And at one point, I understood that this cycle is not sustainable in a long term. One day, I decided that, okay, I maybe need to quit this. My friend brought it up that you were already good in arts and all. Maybe you should try and like do something like that. And that's how tattooing presented itself to me. There was definitely a financial pressure on me because I am quitting a stable, good paying job and getting into something that won't pay anything for at least quite some time. I come from a fairly, you can say, orthodox and middle class family where a decision like this is not usually supported. So I had that kind of emotional struggle also during this transition. But I decided and thought that, this is something that I need to do for myself. Tattooing is not like any other form of art, you can say. It's a very service centric. It's, like where we deal with extreme level of hygienes and everything. A good art on paper or a canvas doesn't necessarily mean a good art on skin as well. You have to understand the limitations that skin has. You have to understand the limitation of working with a needle. You have to understand, like the skin of a person, because that also changes from person to person. You're gonna get demotivated a lot, but you just have to keep going, because in the end, your journey is what you make of it. You have to be true to yourself to begin with. There will be a luck component, there will be a pleasure component, there will be a pain component, but in the end, it's all worth it.
Hello and welcome to DiscoverU Career Journeys. Today we're excited to have with us Sahil Purswani, an upcoming tattoo artist who is currently working as an apprentice based in Kalyan, Mumbai. Sahil's journey is truly inspiring. After spending 8 years in the instrumentation industry, that means he completed in engineering, instrumentation engineering, catering to leading pharmaceutical companies, research institutes, and chemical and F&B sectors, he made the bold decision to pivot his career. As the first in his family to step away from engineering and pursue arts professionally, Sahil now pursues his passion for creativity and expression through tattooing. A graduate in instrumentation engineering from Vivekanandan Institute of Technology, with further training from the Advanced Training Institute, Sahil has led multiple high stake projects in his previous role as a senior executive engineer. His professional achievements include winning the New Star Employee Award and spearheading critical installations for prestigious pharma clients. Beyond work, Sahil is an artist at heart. He loves exploring art, music, novels, watches, trekking, and riding, and brings the blend of precision and imagination into his craft. His career pivot marks not just a professional shift, but also a personal milestone in embracing creativity. Sahil, it's such a pleasure to have you with us today, and thank you for agreeing to join us for this interview.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for such a wonderful introduction.
That's my pleasure. Great. So, Sahil, I'm just going to rewind a little bit with regard to, what you've done and your journey so far. So, can you tell us what your life looks like today as a tattoo artist? And what does a typical day or week look like for you now?
As opposed to common belief, the tattoo artist life is, nowadays very structured and equally, what you can say, busy as, any other professional might think. We do have to maintain certain levels of discipline and uphold our standards, because in the end, tattooing is not like any other form of art, you can say. It's very service centric. It's like where we deal with extreme level of hygienes and everything. So when a day to day life, we have to maintain all these things, very closely. And so we usually start our day early. uh, when we reach the studio, then we have to make sure that, the whole studio is spick and span, and the hygiene is maintained. um, there is no chance of infection involved in this. We check up on the mails, we check up on the calls if there is any new inquiries or something. Then we start taking the roundabouts about, is there any client coming in today or anything like that. We do the necessary preparations for that. So, for example, where I am I right now in my career, I'm, you can say, what a newbie is, right? So I don't have what you can say is like day to day in day out clients. So I usually work on my designing skills and other stuff, but at the same time I help out my mentor. And so that usually looks like, I'll probably be like printing out the design for her or doing the stencil or something. And if the client is coming in, we try to make sure that the client understands the process of tattooing if they are getting it done for the first time specifically, and they are as comfortable as possible. We try to cater to their needs as much as possible. And once the tattooing process begins, then it depends upon the customer or the client, and how well they are willing to be in the process and everything. And then, like that basically depends how long your day is going to be. So no matter like when you start your day, like you cannot ever predict like how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it can be, like a small day when you have just a single client, or maybe if you don't have a client, you are just working on the designs of the
Which is
client.
very crucial for you. I mean,
Yes,
which is absolutely crucial, especially at this point and juncture in your
yes,
career.
yes.
Now, let's rewind a little bit,
Yeah.
Sahil. When growing up, what
hmm
were some of your earliest interests?
Uh, so as a kid, I always had interest in art. Like any other kid, I used to do finger painting. I used to paint up all the walls and everything, sketch on the walls and all those things. But I didn't, like that never came a point where I just let that go. That always stayed with me. Art always stayed with me in one or the other form. And that became my primary interest, so to
Okay.
speak. And other than that, I was always interested in sports, little bit here and there. Mostly indoor sports like table tennis and swimming and all. And other than that, maybe I was a geek or a nerd, you can say, ever since I was little. So I used to get into the nitty gritties of small things. So as a kid, I used to love collect stamps. Later, that converted into watches and all. So yeah, I always had that part in me, and that is
Okay.
also what something attracted me towards science.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, your dad was an engineer. How did that influence your career, Sahil,
yeah.
or your early choices, rather?
Yes. So, my dad was a mechanical engineer, and he used to do all those typical, household chores. Along with that, he used to fix everything and anything around the house. He used to work on his scooter. He used to work around the house. If there is something that we broke, he would be the one to fix it. And seeing him do that made me curious about
Okay.
these things, and sparked that interest in me that, okay, how can I do this, how can I do that?
Hmm.
And so I just, like, I used to follow his footsteps. I used to try to take interest and just sit around him when he's trying to fix something. And
Hmm.
eventually I picked up the tools and started doing those things. uh, I used to take part in my school science projects and all. And slowly and steadily from there, that interest of becoming an engineer grew in me,
Hmm.
where I could, like, think that I can work with my hands, I can make something meaningful.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, you did something called instrumentation engineering. For
Ye-
our viewers who don't know, in simple terms,
Yes.
could you tell us what is instrumentation engineering and what attracted this specific line to you originally?
Okay. So, to put it simply, instrumentation engineering deals with instruments. Now, if you ask me what are instruments, we are surrounded by instruments, right? Uh, they are made up of different stuff, basic things. You can think like a sensor or a regulator of any kind. So if you have a ceiling fan, uh, the switch, the knob with which you regulate the speed of it, that can be an instrument, right? Uh, Anything, like, in a microwave, how do you know your food is cooking at the right temperature? There's a sensor in it to measure the heat that is inside the oven, right? So that is an instrument. So all these things in a day-to-day life, and similarly on an industrial scale, on a professional level, that we are surrounded by instruments. For anything to make it work on a bigger scale, we need instruments to help us do that work. It can be mechanical, it can be electronical, anything. So if you ask me, it's a very complex, integrated field of work where you have tons of option. If you want to work hardware wise, if you want to work software wise, if you are interested in designing, if you're interested in automation,
Okay,
AI, cloud
okay,
computing, everything, there is instrumentation involved.
okay. That's interesting. Now, after your degree, which was for how many years?
It ended in 2015.
So, how many years did you like do the
4 years.
degree for? 4 years degree.
Yeah.
Okay. So, after which you did not work immediately. Am I right, Sahil?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. And you took a 3-month technical course. Can you share some light on that course and how did it add value to the degree?
Sure. So, like I mentioned, I always liked working with my hands, and as things are, engineering, a lot of people consider only computer sciences or IT as part of it, right? So, although that was an option for me during the campus placement, I didn't want to get into it or work in the IT, and I wanted to pursue what I have actually studied.
Okay.
So the thing is, for the core instrumentation jobs that I wanted to do, the placement is very difficult and it's handpicked. Right, you have to be in the top 10% of the class in order to get in through the campus placement. And unfortunately, I was not one of them.
Okay.
So, but I was determined to do that kind of work. So I decided that I'll expand my knowledge base and I'll do something meaningful that will help me get into that kind of a job. So I joined Advanced Training Institute, that is ATI. It is done by the government. So the fees are very, you know, nominal. Yeah. So for the people out there who wants to, expand their knowledge, but they don't have or they don't know what to do, Advanced Training Institute can really help you. And that served as a bridge between the bookish knowledge that you get in the
Mm.
college and the practical skills that you need at a real job.
Okay, and how did you kind of hear about this course?
So I got to hear it from my seniors in the college itself.
Okay,
Yeah. So
all right.
some of them were
And this
posting.
course is available all through the country, Sahil, or I mean, you're in Mumbai, but
Yes.
like for some students who might be in different parts of the country, would you be aware if it's available in different parts of the country?
Yes, they have multiple branches in all of the country.
Okay,
So, I mean, especially all the metros, they have it. I am
okay,
unsure about the semi metros or the small towns or
okay,
villages, they have it or not. But at least all the metros and big cities, they have that.
okay.
So, yeah,
So it merges your theory knowledge with the practical
yes, that's correct.
knowledge over here. Okay, great. Now, after which you joined the company
Yes.
and you were with a single company for 8 years in instrumentation. What kind
Uh,
of work did you do?
so, I was with my first company for about 6 years.
Okay,
And with my second company, I was with them for 2 years.
okay,
And both the places, the work was somewhat related. I mean, the difference was
nice.
not that much in both the places. And the specific job role that I was into was service related. Okay.
Okay,
Yes. So that was also a service industry. We used to service the companies and their specific vendors who, had our instruments. So we used to provide our instruments to these companies, and we used to provide other related services to them.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
And would you be comfortable sharing? Well, you don't need to tell me the company that you were working for, but types of companies.
Sure, sure, sure. I mean, I can. I have no issues in taking the name of the clients for that matter. Uh,
Yes.
we had a customer base, as the biggest base was for me specifically pharmaceuticals,
Okay.
companies like Serum Institute, Cipla, Vocard, and all the big names, or for that matter, some of the small names that you can think about.
Mm-hmm.
Those were all our clients, and MCure for that matter, in Pune. And other than that, we had ink related companies, paint related companies.
Hmm.
We had companies that are our clients are in F&B, that either produce food or they produce the packaging for the food material.
Okay.
For example, Tetra Pak.
Okay.
And yeah, and cement companies, Ambuja Cement and others, Asian Paint, Cadbury, all
Mm-hmm.
these companies were our clients, and the list goes on and on. And other than
Yeah.
that, we had some chemical companies, Garda Chemicals. We had some government institutes,
Mm-hmm.
IITs and NIOs, and other, like Mumbai University and other clients.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Um, and your day-to-day operations would entail at that point of time? Like, I don't want to get too much into that, but maybe just a rough idea for our audience.
Yeah, sure. The kind of work I was doing, I was into service, and I would just let you know that there's a bifurcation here. Okay, there was two kind of instruments that I used to handle. One that goes into the industry, so to speak, in a plant, and one that goes into the laboratories. Okay, so these labs, yeah, these lab can be of government institutes or the companies itself. They have their R&D facilities, right? So it could be part of them, and there were instruments that go inside the industry. So our usual day, because of these two separate sectors, was a little different than one another. when I used to go to industries, it would be an extended visit. It included a lot of travel because I was in service and we had customers everywhere all around the country. It would include a lot of travel for both, but the travel for industries would require me to be in a single place for a longer amount of time, whereas for research institutes and all, lab based instruments, I used to be just bouncing between the different sort of companies because of the nature of instrument, how it is. And other than that, the things that were common amongst them was whatever time I used to have in office is used to be mostly utilized for reporting of the kind of work I'm doing, planning for the upcoming visits, and yeah, the usual office meetings, this, that, other things. And most of the work that I used to do used to happen at site, on site, at the customer place.
Okay.
And also because of the like difference in the kind of instruments that I used to work with, one would, you could say, would have a white collar profile where
Okay.
I would be interacting with PhDs and doctors and company heads and all those things in the laboratory based instruments. And you would have that kind of a luxury side of it where you would like enter in a good place in a glass facade office probably, and have that kind of canteen where like everything is available. And stark difference to that was industries where you would be interacting with mostly on-field engineers and managers and workers and laborers, and working inside the industry where there is no AC. It's all steel and like
Yeah.
everything hardware around there. And yeah, you would have accordingly similar types of canteens and other stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are the two different kinds. I mean, people I know have like stuck to just one, but I was lucky enough to experience both.
Sure. I mean, there is the hard truth about engineering, and it's something where I get a lot of inquiries coming in um, with students who are so confused, thinking that I've used my hands or my family's into engineering, and I should take up engineering, thinking the education is going to lead them into a job. One that you rightly said, you need to get a certain amount of practical knowledge as
Yes.
well. It's very important because the course in itself does not give you that full practical knowledge.
Yes.
Um, this is, I mean, this is the hard truth, and engineering often isn't a conscious choice.
Yes.
It's the default mode, really.
Yes.
And if you had a knack of creating things with your hands, the path is seems predetermined over here.
Yeah.
But as you know, and I know, and I think a lot of people in this country also know after they get into the field that 50% of students either drop out or change majors before their graduation.
Yeah.
Most of them in the very first year,
Yes.
you know. And just like yourself, when did you start to feel a pull away from engineering? Was there a specific moment or period of soul searching that
Yeah.
changed things,
Yeah.
Sahil?
So for me, that period came very late in my life. Uh, Actually, that came during my second job in the last
Okay,
2 years, in fact.
okay,
Although I would say I was interested and introduced to this field of tattooing when I was in college, but I never thought that that could be a possible career choice for me specifically, because I was already invested in sciences and engineering, and I, like didn't have the courage to think that I could change and do something like that. That part came during my second job, and uh, the hard truth or the bitter truth about the kind of job in service engineering is that you have to travel a lot. uh, I am the kind of person who enjoys traveling, but still it used to get a lot for me sometimes. And unfortunately, as the situation is right now, we are short on labor at almost each front. So that was the same similar situation that I was facing in my second job, and it was just getting too overwhelming for me. And around that time, I started falling sick also a little. uh, yeah, it became a recurring thing in my life where I would travel a lot. I would be exhausted mentally and physically. Uh, Eventually, I'll fall sick, I'll recover, and the same cycle kept on repeating. And, uh, at one point, I understood that this cycle is not sustainable in a long term. So then eventually I thought that, okay, maybe I should, think about some other options. And then before I could even just begin thinking of some other options, there was one thing that was certain, like I said, that this is not sustainable. And, just one day I decided that, okay, I maybe need to quit this. I'll figure this out later, and but I need to quit. And then I took the hard decision, going against the flow, going against my family's their will of me continuing this or something. uh, I decided to quit that. And after that, actually, the soul searching came. uh, One of my friends through whom I got introduced to tattooing, I was staying with him for some time, and during that time, I was contemplating getting into IT or something, because again, that's something, like a easy path that one can choose after
Hmm.
engineering.
Yeah,
Uh,
that seems to be the case with a lot of people. They come and say, I'm a chemical or a mechanical or
yeah,
instrumentation design engineer, and now we want to move into IT. I think that
yes.
seems to be the natural progression because of all the noise that IT creates.
Because of all the noise also, and because that's one of the easy paths where what that you can take, because
Yes.
you will still remain in a corporate structure. It's
Hmm.
just the kind of work you're doing changes,
Yeah.
and for
Yeah.
that, the learning curve is not that high, because you have already the logic to develop an algorithm or something. You just need to understand the language. And that's
Hmm.
when people learn some kind of programming language, and they use their minds that they have developed as an engineer throughout their career to use the logic building and problem solving, and then they just apply it in a different form.
Okay.
So also, there's a lot of involvement of IT in other sectors now.
Yeah.
So they people like these become a common bridge between the
Hmm.
two worlds, where there is one sector that is proper hands-on engineering, one sector that is complete IT, and there are people like these who trade between the two worlds. So yeah, that's where they can come in, and I understand that. But
Hmm.
that is something that I didn't want to do at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So after doing that, some soul searching and all, my friend brought it up that you were already good in arts and all. Maybe you should try and do something like that. And that's how I started thinking about it, and tattooing presented itself to me.
Hmm. I like how it presented itself to you, and
Yeah.
it was a natural progression, but I'm sure it took its toll on the fact that you were quitting a stable engineering job, which is a big move. What
Yes.
were the toughest challenges you faced when you decided to switch? Financially, family expectations, identity, skill gap. I mean, these are big things when we're looking at, quitting from the typical big word engineering.
Yes. So like you rightly said, there was definitely a financial pressure on me because I am quitting a stable, good paying job and
Yes.
getting into something that won't pay anything for at least quite some time. So I had to be, able to sustain on my savings, whatever I have. And other than that, I come from a fairly uh, you can say orthodox and middle class family where a decision like this is not usually supported.
Yes.
Um, it's very hard for them to understand this drastic move, and it's very hard to support this kind of move as well. So obviously I had backlash from my family. I had backlash from my wife because she also didn't understand this decision. uh, I mean, eventually she did end up supporting me, but yeah. So I had that kind of emotional struggle also during this transition. But
Mm-hmm.
I decided and thought that, this is something that I need to do for myself. If I don't, and if I just end up going back to that kind of cycle, I won't be happy and I won't be able to keep people in my life happy. So, yeah, that was a conscious call and a hard call that I had to take.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is tough. And thank you for sharing that because it resonates with so many people. Um, it will resonate with so many people who will be watching this because I get to speak to those people day in and day out saying that I want to resign or I
Mhm.
want to quit or I've done this course and I don't know what to do and my parents are not going to support me or I'm married with children and how do I just take such a drastic change.
Yes.
Forget tattoo artist, being a tattoo artist. I don't think the thought even strikes them. They can do something completely different based on what they are interested in
Yes.
doing. Now, practically, what are the hardest adjustments going from engineering projects to tattooing?
Uh, wow. Uh, the hardest thing I would say was, uh, you know, uh, arts in general is very individualistic, right? So, coming from a place or a field of work that is usually built on a system to a place where the mindset is very individualistic, that is a kind of drastic change that people find very hard to adjust to. It took me also some time, uh, but this is just the basic mindset. It affects a lot of decisions that you take on a personal or a professional level. So people who you interact with, uh, they are not gonna be like how you interacted with in corporate. um, the creativity that these people have can severely demotivate you. And yeah, because these people are doing this for a long time, and like they had the luxury of being an artist ever since they were little. So obviously they are going to be like miles and bounds ahead of you. So seeing those people, meeting those people can severely demotivate someone. So you have to like just understand that, okay, this is all part of the process. You have to understand that this is gonna happen with you. You are gonna get demotivated a lot, but you just have to keep going because in the end your journey is what you make of it, right? So yeah, that used to happen. And also, when I was in engineering, I sort of had a disconnect with my creative side also, especially after school and majorly after school and somewhat after college, where other than mostly music, I had almost like a complete disconnect with the creative side of mine. So yeah, I kind of, like, had a shift in my thinking process also, because uh, engineering requires a lot of logical thinking, lot of that kind of processing where you think of the practical stuff and the logical stuff. So when you have trained your mind like that for 8 plus 4 years
Absolutely.
of
You have to change certain rituals or habits or
yeah.
mindsets, and yeah.
Yeah. So that was the toughest part for me. Getting used to the lifestyle otherwise was not that tough. I am very, like, malleable, you can say. I used to travel for work, so I never had an issue to, like, adjust with a new crowd or new people or the habits of any kind. I am very low maintenance in general, so that is also one of the biggest blocks that some people have, that they are very set in their ways, so they find this kind of change also very difficult. So if you're okay with that, then maybe, like, it's not that big of a hurdle.
Mm, yeah. So you said that there were certain habits and rituals. Anything that you specifically did to go through this transition?
uh yes, definitely. See, as an engineer, it was, like, hardwired in my mind that whenever you do something, you have to get into the minute details of it in order to do those. So I use that for my advantage, and before stepping into the water, I researched the hell out of it. I used all the free resources available to me online and offline, and I just, like, dived headfirst into it, and got myself acquainted with everything that the free internet can tell me. And what are the working habits, what is hygiene, what is designing this, that, what are the different tattoo styles, what are inks, what are needles, everything that I could understand at that point. Obviously there is a lot more information, but I could not understand a lot of it. But whatever I could, I understood, I researched the hell out of it before I approached anyone or mentor or anything. And once I, like, decided to take that step, then when I was talking with them, I knew what I'm talking about. I was not someone who just, like, got up and showed up. So that is something that helped me also, because when they see a person doing this after leaving a job and coming here and doing this, they are not generally expecting that level of understanding from the very first
Sure,
meeting.
sure.
So yeah.
Um, Sahil, can you walk us through the craft of tattooing? I think there is hygiene that you mentioned. There's a lot of individuality or rather authenticity that you need to bring on the table,
Yes.
your craft.
Yes.
So that's basically the skill. But
Yes.
I'm sure there's safety and there are different processes involved in creating permanent body art.
Yes. Definitely. So see, one thing is I would like to tell you before I get into the details of those things is, the tattooing, as like, people used to see it earlier in the early 2000s or 90s or whatever. It's very different now, especially if you are with an artist who knows their, like, craft.
Yeah.
It's very different, it's very safe. So, yeah, I mean, the scene has changed a lot. We have come, like, further into the world where, like, we can do something that is not looked down upon. It's no longer a taboo subject anymore. Mindset has changed, the equipment has changed, everything has changed. So, with that in mind, people who still think or believe that tattooing is unsafe or it can cause permanent damage of some sort. If you are with someone who understands their craft, hygiene is the first and most important thing that any good tattoo artist understands, and it is like, like beaten into their skulls when they start working. So that part was fairly easy for me because I used to work with pharmaceutical companies. So understanding the details of hygiene and the gravity of it is not something that had to be beaten into me. I knew that already. So again, that played in favor of me. So understanding the severity of hygiene and maintaining it came quite naturally to me. But like someone who is in their 17, 18 age or 20s, early 20s, they might not understand the gravity of it. So that is something, like that a good tattoo artist always takes care of and always teaches their apprentice also. So hygiene, maintaining hygiene, if if I can give you an example, all the service surfaces that we touch during a consultation or during a tattoo session, they are cleaned before a client enters. They are covered during the process of tattooing, and they are, like thrown out. The covers are thrown out, and the whole place is sanitized again before anyone else can even, like get into that place. So nowadays it's basically operation theater like
Yes, I was
hygiene.
just going to say it's almost seeming like a surgery, but
Yes.
it's a
Uh,
beautiful one in its own way. Yeah.
yeah. So that part is there. Hygiene is the biggest part. Other than that, I would say you need to be able to accept criticism when it comes to learning how to create good art, because
Hmm.
although art is very individualistic, it still is, like it uh, can be good or bad art as well. And especially when it comes to tattooing, that is more true than anything else, because if I draw a, beautiful scenery or a picture for you, that may be very good on paper or on a canvas or any, but when it comes to translating that on a skin, things change a lot. So a good art on paper or a canvas doesn't necessarily mean a good art on skin as well. So you have to able to understand that difference. Understanding that difference takes a lot, right? So that is where a lot of people struggle when it comes to tattooing, and especially nowadays with AI and all those things. People think that they can just generate an image in Midjourney or some other AI, and they can just show it to the artist and they can just copy it as it is on the skin. That's not how it works. So yeah, you have to understand the limitations that skin has. You have to understand the limitation of working with a needle. You have to understand, like the skin of a person, because that also changes from person to person. A dusky person and a fair person both can't get exactly the same tattoo, exactly the same colors, because their skin is different. Yes, you can get a very good tattoo for a dusky person, but it can't be the exact same for, like their fair friend or whatever. So, yeah, it changes, technique changes, the design changes, everything changes from skin to skin and person to person. So that kind of adaptability, that kind of understanding, that's not something that you can develop in a day. That's something that any other art, if you are an artist, you can understand that. You can only understand once you start working in the field of tattooing, once you give enough time, once you
Hmm.
see enough, uh, like seniors working through their process, only by witnessing and experiencing this that you can understand, okay, how things change from person
Yes.
to person.
Yeah. Wow, it's very intense and very deep. If someone is stuck between a secure technical career, Sahil,
Yeah.
and a creative calling, what are some small experiments or steps should they try before making a big leap?
Uh, See, I would say first you have to, uh, the process starts whether you have that inclination or not. You have to be true to yourself to begin with in order to, like take that step to begin with. If you are not true to yourself, and if you, like don't have the calling, or you
Yeah.
have the calling and you're ignoring it, then probably that's something, like you're not doing justice to your own self.
Hmm.
And once you understand that, then the process begins right at that point when you like have that clarity. And once you have that clarity, like I said, you can start with baby steps. You can research about it. There is so much information available online nowadays, and I'm talking about good information.
Yes,
Yes, there is
absolutely.
lot of
I think there's
bad.
definitely more information I mean, there's too much information, very
Yes,
honestly. So these are, I mean, I think these would be some tips you could kind of like three practical tips that
yes,
you could probably
yes.
share. So information.
Yeah, first is gaining information and good
Yes.
information, because there is a lot of bad information also out there.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
information not just about tattooing, about improving your drawing and painting skill as well. Because
Very
more than
important.
anything, tattooing requires you to draw, and just draw. So, one thing that you can do, small changes that you can take is, like if you're thinking of getting into it and you don't have any kind of creative background, or like you don't have any kind of skills, you first start there. You first start developing that. You
Hmm.
first start drawing.
Hmm.
Basics of drawing you can find anywhere. Anyone
Yeah.
you meet, anyone worth their salt in their
Yeah.
tattoo industry, they'll first and foremost thing that they'll tell you is draw as much as you can. You can draw in between your free time when you're traveling or whatever. You can make birthday gifts for people, like
Draw.
save a buck and just give them a painting or something. So, that way you can just do a lot of that stuff and
Yeah.
draw and paint. That's about it.
That's great. Um, Sahil, a book, a quote, or a piece of advice that has stuck with you over the last few years through your engineering and through this transition?
Mm, I would say there are two books that I would suggest someone to read. Uh, One is by Bear Grylls, Mud, Sweat, and Tears, where he recounts his story of, like growing up uh, in a small place where he was a son, last son of so many sisters to the parents, and dreaming of going to Mount Everest with his father, then enrolling into British special services, uh, breaking his back in a parachute accident, then recovering from it, going to Everest still, and now like he is a huge sensation worldwide. So like he recounts his entire story, especially after losing his uh, like mobility by breaking his back, and then going to the Mount Everest and doing what he like used to think as a kid he can do with his father. So yeah, that is very inspirational and something that I really enjoyed. And the other one is I would say autobiography by Andre Agassi. He's a tennis player. His autobiography is called Open. That recounts his journey about his life, and like that gives you a peek into our idols are not actually that perfect, and like how these imperfections and struggles of their life still mold them into the kind of person they are and makes them better for it. So these are very interesting books, I would say, that like someone can read.
Yeah.
And as far as code goes, I think there are two that I would like to again tell, and one is basically part of a song that Remember the Name. There is a song called Remember the Name. So for that, it goes like this is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. So, yeah, that basically captures, this uh, point, this junction in your life. If you're thinking about switching the career, this is what you will face. There will be a luck component, there will be a pleasure component, there will be a pain component. It's a 50% pain, right? But in the end, it's all worth it. And the second one that I would say is there's a movie called The Grey uh, of Liam Neeson, and in that there is one small poem that I really love. It's like it goes like once more into the fray, into the last good fight I'll ever know. Live and die on this day. Live and die on this day. It also talks about how you have to um, stare into the face of adversity and accept that change and just give your all.
Wow, those are great final thoughts, Sahil. I'm so happy I got this opportunity with you. Um, Thank you for your time and thank you for sharing your journey. If people want to know more about your work, where can they find you on social media?
So I have an Instagram page,
Okay.
and there's a app called Kara. That is something that is new that is coming up. It's
Okay.
more artist centric, where your work is, uh, like not there's not a chance of getting it stolen, or the privacy and all is more artist
Okay.
centric.
Okay.
So
That's
that
good.
is something that I am trying to be active on as well.
Okay. Great.
On both the platform, I go by the name Berupia. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, so it's something, also again a play on the word bear is what my wife calls me, and also Berupia, as I am, like uh, transitioning from one world to another. So that made sense
Nice.
to me.
So we'd be sure to include these links for our viewers in the description below. I'm sure, Sahil, this will inspire our audience, and I wish you all the very best on your journey ahead. To our viewers, we hope you found this conversation insightful. Stay tuned for more episodes of Discover You Career Journeys, where we aim to bring you more inspiring stories. Thank you. At the end of every career journey, we bring you key reflections from our conversation with the guest. Sahil's story is one of courage, creativity, and quiet discipline. He transitioned from engineering to tattooing, a bold leap from logic to art. Inspired by his father's engineering background, Sahil's early career was rooted in precision and structure. Even through the technical years, his love for art never failed him. Engineering taught him discipline, problem solving, and patience, qualities that now shape his tattooing practice. His hands on training helped bridge the gap between theory and the real world skill. Yet, the service engineering field came with its own challenges: constant travel, burnout, and little room for creative expression. Quitting a stable job wasn't easy. There were financial worries, family expectations, and self doubt. But the decision came from a need for fulfillment, not comfort, and that made all the difference. Today, as a tattoo artist, Sahil shows that this craft isn't chaos. It's precision, hygiene, and trust built into every design. His journey reminds us that research, preparation, and self belief can turn uncertainty into confidence. That being true to yourself is the first step to an authentic career. And that reinvention isn't failure, it's the courage to begin again with purpose. Thank you for watching this inspiring conversation on DiscoverU Career Journeys. If you've enjoyed this chat, hit the like button and let me know in the comment section which part of today's story inspired you most. And if you have questions about your own career or want to hear from people in a specific industry, drop those suggestions below as well. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new career journey. It may just be the inspiration you were looking for. Until next time, stay happy.